Coinbase was faced with a very serious question on Twitter, and they were asked if regulators force Coinbase to censor or block an Ethereum transaction of a user at the protocol level, would Coinbase A, comply and censor, or B, shut down staking services? And Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, responded, stating, "We'd go with B, I think. Got to focus on the bigger picture." Brian Armstrong stating that if they were forced to block a user's transaction, they would do so. And the reason this question is being asked is because unfortunately this may become our reality in the future. The United States government and governments around the world have a lot more power in controlling crypto than we previously thought. You may be aware that the United States has placed sanctions on Tornado Cash, an Ethereum privacy tool. They also forced Circle, the company behind USDC, to freeze 75,000 USDC. The Tornado Cash developer also was arrested, and the United States has stated that any US person interacting with anything having to do with Tornado Cash can face the penalty of $50,000 to $10 million and face up to 10 to 30 years in prison. They are not messing around. The funny thing is, right after this happened, an anonymous user sent out small transactions of sanctioned Ethereum from Tornado Cash to notable users, including Jimmy Fallon, Shaquille O'Neal, Puma, Randy Zuckerberg, Logan Paul, Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, and the list goes on. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out over time. But what we do know, like we said earlier, is that the United States can actually force companies like Coinbase to do whatever they want. And the reason why this is even being brought up is because Coinbase at the moment is actually one of the largest stakers of Ethereum, meaning that when the merge happens, they're basically going to control the network. Coinbase is the third largest entity currently staking Ethereum on the Beacon chain. And there's a reason for this. The reason why these exchanges have so much power is because of the way Ethereum staking is set up. You need 32 Ethereum to run a node, which is a lot of money, whether Ethereum is $1,000 or $3,000. And over time, it's going to become even more difficult, especially if Ethereum becomes, let's say, $6,000 or $8,000, meaning that most people can't actually run their own node. So instead, they have to give their Ethereum to a third party. And I've never been a fan of Ethereum staking. I like Ethereum, I use Ethereum, I own Ethereum. But the staking model, I am not a fan relative to other blockchains. Because in this case, if you can't run your own node, you have to give up custody of your Ethereum to a third party, as opposed to something like Cardano or Solana, where you can still hold your crypto, take custody, and just delegate your rights. And at any time, you can take them back. But in the case of Ethereum, that will not be the case. And more specifically right now, when it comes to Coinbase staking, I never really found it worth it. I've made a few videos on it over the last year. With Coinbase staking, you are giving your Ethereum to a third party, and it's going to be locked up for an unknown period. And then even after the merge, it's not going to be available to withdraw immediately. It could take another 6 to 12 months to be able to withdraw your crypto or your Ethereum. And in return for all of this, all you're getting is a 4 to 5% APY. I never really found it worth it. And in the future, as Ethereum grows, there's a big criticism that the network is going to become very centralized because, as we just mentioned, most people can't actually run their own node. So they're going to have to give over their Ethereum to a third party. They no longer have custody. Now, that third party that holds all of that Ethereum staked has a lot of control over the network. So in the future, I'm pretty sure that a lot of these exchanges are going to be faced with this serious question, and especially for the exchanges in the United States. If the government comes over and says, hey, block this transaction, then they're going to have to do it. And because of this, this is why Coinbase stated that they probably would just stop staking services. And when it comes to Brian Armstrong, we can look at this in a few ways. Number one, maybe he wants to preserve the network. And by doing this, he'll stop staking so that he doesn't have to censor transactions. On the other hand, we could look at it that there is no choice. They have to censor transactions if the government asks them to do so. Because if they don't, they will just get in trouble anyway and they will get shut down. And if they continue staking and they actually censor the transactions, then anyways, Coinbase users are going to have an uproar and they're going to leave Coinbase. So they don't really have a choice. Now, when it comes to Coinbase, they are hurting financially. we know that they had a very poor Q2, posting a $1.1 billion loss. Now, this is the only company that we know about because they're public and they have to show this information. But I'm pretty sure that almost every exchange had a very bad quarter. We just don't know because they're a private company. The bottom line is we're in a bear market. There are less people trading, meaning there are less fees. So everyone took a hit this quarter. Now, when it comes to Coinbase, they really need staking. They need other ways of making money, and they're going to rely on staking, especially from institutional clients. And an analyst from JP Morgan stated, "We see the staking revenue opportunity bigger than the income opportunity, given we expect institutional staking clients will contribute meaningfully to ETH staking revenue." So Coinbase really needs this. They need retail and they need institutions, and they're going to make a lot of money from both when it comes to staking. But they're going to be faced with a serious problem in the future if the United States comes to Coinbase and tells them to censor a transaction, which I believe there is a high probability of happening. Another way that Coinbase plans to make money is by partnering up with BlackRock to offer crypto to institutional investors through Coinbase Prime. BlackRock is one of the biggest companies you may have never heard about. BlackRock basically owns the world, and pretty soon they may own the entire crypto space. And if you want to know more about BlackRock, go ahead and watch this video right here.